Your body is like a house that never gets cleaned. Every meal you eat is another delivery truck at the door. But when you eat just once a day, the trucks stop coming. And for the first time in years, your body's cleaning crew can finally do its job. Scientists call this autophagy. In 2016, it won the Nobel Prize. And after 60, it matters more than almost anything else you can do for your health. Let me show you exactly how it works, hour by hour. Most people think that if they don't eat for a whole day, they'll get weak and sick. But that's like thinking your phone will break if you let the battery run low before charging it. The truth is, your body has a built-in repair system. It's powerful, it's free, and for people over 60, it matters more than almost anything else I could tell you today. After 60, your body's cleaning crew doesn't work quite as fast as it used to. Every hour you give it counts. Every window of rest you create matters more than it ever did. In the next 20 minutes, I'm going to walk you through exactly what happens inside your body, hour by hour, from the moment you stop eating to the moment you sit down for that one meal. When we're done, you'll understand something that took researchers decades to figure out. And what's coming at the 10-minute mark? Stay for that. Two things. I want to tell you two things before we start the clock. The first one is free. Completely free. No supplement. No prescription. No equipment. And it was so significant that in 2016, a scientist stood on a stage in Stockholm and accepted the Nobel Prize for discovering how it works inside your body. We'll get there. Enough theory. Let's start the clock. The moment you put down your fork after your last meal. That's hour zero. Everything I'm about to describe starts right there. The first 4 hours feel completely normal. But inside your body, a traffic jam is already building. Let's go. You just finished eating. You feel good, satisfied. Energy is up. Everything seems fine. But inside your body right now, there is a full traffic jam happening. Your stomach is breaking down everything you just ate. Proteins are being pulled apart into amino acids. Carbohydrates are being converted into glucose, sugar, and that sugar is flooding your bloodstream. Your pancreas sees this and releases insulin. Now, insulin is the key player in this whole story. So let me explain it simply. Think of insulin as a security guard standing outside a locked room. That locked room is your fat storage. As long as that guard is on duty, the door stays locked. Energy flows in. Nothing comes out. When insulin is high, burning body fat is biologically impossible. Your body takes whatever sugar it can't immediately use and stores it in your liver and muscles. This stored form is called glycogen. Think of it like a wallet with $40 in it, easy to reach, quick to access, but it doesn't last long. This security guard, insulin, stays on duty longer than most people realize. And while he's standing there, not a single ounce of fat can be burned. That's not an opinion. That's biology. For these first 4 hours, everything feels normal. Your body is doing exactly what it was designed to do. But nothing remarkable has happened yet. Around hour 6 or 7, something shifts. And this is the moment most people make a mistake that costs them everything. Your stomach starts to growl. You feel a little irritable, maybe a slight headache. Your brain is sending one message loud and clear. Eat something. Stop. Because this is not hunger. This is habit. There's a hormone called ghrelin. Think of it like your body's alarm clock. It goes off at the same time every day, whether you actually need food or not. It has been conditioned by years of eating on a schedule. Right now, it's ringing. Most people feel that alarm and immediately reach for food. They assume something is wrong. Nothing is wrong. Dr. Chupp and his colleagues, in a landmark 2000 paper published in Nature, first mapped exactly how ghrelin works in the body. Their finding was clear. The hunger signal is rhythmic. It is conditioned by habit. It is not a sign of danger. It is a signal you can learn to read differently. Your body is like a car that has only ever run on one type of fuel. Ask it to switch to a different tank, even a better one, and it stutters at first. That's not breakdown. That's adjustment. I want to tell you about someone. Patricia is 71 years old, retired nurse. She left a comment on one of our videos a few months ago. She said the first time she tried extending her eating window, she hit that wall at hour 7 and was convinced something was medically wrong. She made herself a cup of herbal tea, sat down, and decided to wait 20 minutes before doing anything else. The hunger passed. She said, and I think about this a lot, she said, "It was the first time in 40 years I realized hunger is just a wave. It comes, and it goes." She was right. You aren't starving. You're just not used to this yet. Push through this window, because around hour 10 to 12, the glycogen wallet is nearly empty. The security guard, insulin, is starting to clock out, and your body is about to make a decision. At hour 12, there is a specific, measurable, biological moment. The door opens. Hour 12. This is what we've been waiting for. Insulin has dropped to its lowest baseline level. The security guard is gone. And your body, your survival machine, built to function for days without food, does exactly what it was always designed to do. It unlocks the vault. An enzyme activates called hormone-sensitive lipase. Don't worry about the name, just picture a maintenance crew that only shows up after the security guard leaves. They finally have access to every room, including the one that's been locked for years. For the first time, possibly in days, possibly much longer, your body begins drawing energy directly from your fat stores. You are no longer running on what you ate yesterday. You are running on you. And here's what matters most right now. You're not losing muscle. You're not shutting down. You are using the energy your body has been storing, patiently, carefully, for exactly this moment. 2 hours after this, something happens to the brain. And if you've ever experienced that heavy, foggy feeling after a big meal, what comes next is the exact opposite of that. Hour 14. And something is different. The hunger cramps are gone. The irritability, gone. There is a clarity that's difficult to describe unless you felt it yourself. Like someone cleaned a foggy window you didn't even realize was there. This is not your imagination. This is chemistry. As your body breaks down fat, your liver starts producing something called ketones. Here's the simple version. Your brain cannot burn fat directly. It needs a specific fuel. Normally, that fuel is glucose, sugar. But when glucose is low, your liver converts fat into ketones and sends them to the brain as an alternative. And the brain loves ketones. Think of it this way. Burning glucose for brain energy is like burning wood. It works, it gets the job done, but it's messy. It leaves behind smoke and ash. That residue, in biological terms, is called oxidative stress. Over years, it quietly accumulates. Ketones burn like a gas flame. Clean, efficient. More energy per molecule, less waste produced. Dr. George Cahill, his 2006 work in the Annual Review of Nutrition, documented exactly how the brain transitions to ketone metabolism during fasting. He called it one of the most elegant adaptations in human physiology. For people over 60, this has one very specific implication. Brain fog. That thick, slow feeling that creeps in after meals. That's glucose metabolism at work. What you feel at hour 16, that lightness, that focus, that's ketones. We're halfway through the timeline. And the next section is the reason I made this video. This is the most important part of this video. I need you to stay with me here. At hour 16, with insulin low and fat burning in full gear, your cells begin a process that has no real equivalent in modern medicine. Scientists call it autophagy. It comes from the Greek. It literally means self-eating. But don't let that name put you off. Because what it actually means is this. Your cells start cleaning house. You know those renovation programs on television? They go into an old house, tear out the broken pipes, the crumbling walls, the faulty wiring, and replace everything with new, strong materials. The crew doesn't bring anything in from outside. They break down what's already there, salvage what's usable, and build something better from what remains. That is autophagy. Your cells begin searching for damaged components. Old mitochondria. Think of those as the tiny power plants inside every cell, the ones that have become sluggish and inefficient over time. Debris that has quietly accumulated for years. Cellular junk that shouldn't be there anymore. And something that matters deeply for anyone concerned about long-term brain health. Misfolded proteins. Think of a protein like a piece of origami. When it folds correctly, it works perfectly. When it folds wrong, it doesn't function. And it doesn't just sit there quietly. It accumulates. In the brain, this buildup has been linked in research to cognitive decline and conditions like Alzheimer's disease. Autophagy finds these, breaks them down, recycles them into clean, functional amino acids your body uses to build something new. In 2016, Yoshinori Osumi received the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine specifically for mapping how this process works at the cellular level. This is not a wellness trend. This is one of the most significant scientific discoveries of recent decades. And it happens inside your body, for free, every time you reach hour 16. A 2011 paper by Rubinstein, Marino, and Krumer published in Cell-Connected Autophagy directly to the biology of aging. When autophagy is active and running properly, cells age more slowly. When it's chronically switched off, by constant eating, among other things, the damage accumulates without being cleared. And a 2010 study by Alarizai and colleagues in the journal Autophagy found that this is the most common reason people avoid fasting. I don't want to lose muscle. It's a completely reasonable concern, especially after 60, when maintaining muscle directly affects your strength, your mobility, your balance, and your independence. But here's what the biology actually shows. Your body is not going to burn the furniture to heat the house when there's a shed full of firewood right outside. Your muscles are the furniture. Your body fat is the firewood. And your body, your intelligent, adaptive, survival-designed body, burns the firewood first. Every time. In 1988, Dr. K.Y. Ho and his colleagues published a study in the Journal of Clinical Investigation that researchers still reference today. They measured what happens to growth hormone during extended fasting. Growth hormone is the hormone directly responsible for protecting and maintaining lean muscle tissue. Think of it as a force field around your muscles. It sends one clear signal to the body: burn the fat, leave the muscle alone. During fasting, growth hormone rises in ways that simply cannot be replicated through ordinary daily eating. Dr. Ho's team documented elevations significant enough that the findings changed how scientists understood the relationship between fasting and muscle preservation. Low insulin, rising growth hormone. This combination almost never occurs outside of a fasting state. And it creates the exact internal conditions to strip away body fat while protecting the muscle you've spent a lifetime building. For people over 60, this isn't just about body composition, it's about staying strong, staying mobile, staying independent. Hour 23. The clock has almost come full circle. And now, it's time to eat. But there is one thing you need to know before you do, because this is where most people quietly undo everything they just spent 23 hours building. Your body right now is a completely dry sponge. A sponge that has been soaking all day cannot absorb another drop. But a dry sponge absorbs everything instantly, completely, and sends it exactly where it needs to go. Your insulin sensitivity is at its highest point. Your digestive system has had 23 hours of rest. The inflammation in your gut lining has had time to settle. Your cells are ready to receive. What you put in right now matters more than it would after any ordinary meal. And this is where the mistake happens. The fast was difficult. You pushed through it. And the brain sends a very natural message. You've earned a reward. Eat what you want. That instinct will work directly against you. Break 23 hours of fasting with pizza, sugary drinks, or processed food, and you're flooding a highly sensitized system with a sudden surge of sugar. The insulin response that follows will be exaggerated. Within an hour, you'll feel it. Fatigue, bloating, a crash that erases the clarity and energy you spent all day building. You didn't fast to suffer, you fasted to heal. Finish the logic of what you started. What to eat. The 60+ guide. 3 steps. That's all this is. Not a complicated protocol. Not an expensive shopping list. 3 steps. And if you follow them in order, your one meal will do more for your body than 3 ordinary meals ever could. Step 1. Start with protein. Your body just spent hours recycling damaged proteins through autophagy. It used amino acids as raw material for cellular repair. Now it needs to rebuild. Eggs, salmon, chicken, lean beef. These are your foundation. A simple rule to remember: a palm-sized portion of protein. That's your starting point. One important note, particularly for anyone over 70. Research consistently shows that protein absorption becomes less efficient as we age. This means you need more protein as you get older, not less. Not to bulk up, simply to maintain the muscle and tissue you already have. That was step 1. But step 1 alone leaves the job unfinished. Step 2. Add healthy fats. Avocado, olive oil, walnuts, almonds. Your body is already in fat-burning mode. Eating fat here keeps that metabolic machinery running. It keeps your insulin response moderate. No spike, no crash. And omega-3 fats, specifically from salmon and walnuts, offer documented support for joint inflammation and cardiovascular health. 2 areas that matter enormously after 60. 2 steps down. Now, the one most people skip entirely. Step 3. Volume from vegetables. Because you are eating once, you cannot spread your micronutrients across 3 meals. Everything needs to come from this one: dark leafy greens, broccoli, cauliflower, and if you can include them, fermented foods. Sauerkraut, kefir, kimchi. These actively support the gut microbiome, which connects directly to immune function and systemic inflammation levels. The minerals here, potassium, magnesium, calcium, are not optional after 60. They protect heart rhythm, prevent muscle cramps, and support the bone density that keeps you mobile and upright. A 2016 study by Morrow and colleagues, published in the Journal of Translational Medicine, followed a group of people eating within a single structured daily window. The results showed measurable improvements in inflammatory markers, blood pressure, and metabolic function. The quality of food within that window was a key variable in every outcome they measured. One last thing. Do not break 23 hours of fasting with sugar, refined carbohydrates, or processed food. You spent all day cleaning the house. Don't open the door and let the delivery trucks back in. The adaptation week. How to start without suffering. Don't jump straight in. You'll only associate this with discomfort, and you'll stop before you ever feel the benefit. Here's how to actually do it. Week 1. Push your breakfast back by 2 hours. Nothing dramatic, just 2 hours later than usual. Week 2. Skip breakfast entirely. Eat at lunch. Week 3. Push lunch back by 2 or 3 hours. Week 4. You've arrived. One meal, reached naturally, without forcing anything. Your body adapts. The fat-burning enzymes your liver needs, they take time to manufacture. The ketone production system becomes more efficient with practice. The hunger patterns shift. Give it the weeks it needs. Now, if in that first week you feel a headache or unusual fatigue, before you assume anything is wrong, try this first. A small pinch of sea salt in a glass of water. That's it. When insulin drops, your kidneys release sodium and water. Your electrolytes shift. That first week headache is almost always the result. Replace the salt, and it typically clears within 20 minutes. If you have a history of disordered eating, please speak with a doctor before changing your eating pattern. If you take medication for diabetes or blood pressure, this matters. These medications are calibrated to your current diet. Changing your eating pattern changes the equation, and your doctor needs to be part of that conversation. If you are already under significant stress or dealing with serious sleep disruption, fasting places additional demand on a system that is already stretched. Stabilize those things first. Then revisit this. This is for healthy adults who want to give their body a tool it was always designed to use. Your body already knows how to do everything I described today. The cleaning, the repairing, the protecting, the renewing. It knew before you watched this video. It has known since the day you were born. It doesn't need a prescription. It doesn't need an expensive protocol. It needs something we have almost completely removed from it in the modern world. Time. Just time. And you can give it that. I'll see you in the next one.